that my ex-wife is miserable. 3 years ago, me, 48 male, found out that my wife, 46 female, was having an affair. She met a guy at work and came home one day telling me she was in love with him, no longer loved me, and wanted a divorce. This was a guy she'd known for only 3 months at the time. She and I had been together since we were in our 20s, and we had 3 kids, 28 male, 26 male, and 23 female. Well, I tried to fight for my marriage and didn't want a divorce, but she simply would not stop seeing this guy. After one weekend where she disappeared from Friday afternoon to Sunday night, I ended up throwing her out of the house. She immediately moved in with this guy. The only excuse she ever gave me was, "I never wanted to hurt you, but there's something about this guy, and I deserve to be happy." That was it. That was the depth of her reasoning for throwing everything that we built together away. We ended up finalizing our divorce in early 2022. Although I had a very hard feelings towards her, I faked it enough to get pretty favorable divorce terms from her. It seemed she was so eager to be with her dream man that she didn't have time for a long divorce. So in the end, I got to keep my pension and the house, which I had bought for my grandmother. I did have to give her half of my 401k, however. The effect on our kids was pretty devastating. All 3 of them took it very hard. My oldest son told her that if she chose this man, he'd never have a relationship with her again. As of right now, neither of our sons has a relationship with their mother. Our daughter does talk to her from time to time, but their relationship is very strained to say the least. My daughter is a very kind person and she tries, but she usually ends her conversations with her mother even more upset than when they started. About 4 months after the divorce, my ex contacted me out of the blue. She told me that she had made a terrible mistake and asked if she could come home. Her dream man turned out to be an alcoholic who she says is verbally abusive and wasted all of her money. I used this as an opportunity to tell her exactly what I thought of her as a person, a wife, and a mother. I told her that this was her life now and she had to deal with it. I told her she no longer had a home at this house and to never contact me again. Then a few things happened over the last year that had driven her to start trying to contact me again. First off, I met someone. My sister introduced me to a friend of hers who is also divorced, and she and I hit it off. We've been seeing each other since last summer, and while we've agreed that neither of us wants to get married again, we are together. Once my ex heard about this, she once again tried to contact me, but I ignored her. My son also got married and did not invite his mother. She again contacted me to try to get me to intervene on her behalf. I told her I would talk to him, but I never did. Secretly, I feel like she deserves all the pain she's feeling when it comes to our kids. She destroyed our family without so much as an afterthought. Too bad, so sad. Now she recently told our daughter that she finally broke it off with the dream man because she could not take his drinking and total lack of responsibility. He wasted her half of the 401k that I had given her. He also totaled her car driving drunk. This from a man in his 40s. Again, she knew this guy for 3 months and torpedoed our whole family for him. On the face of it, I act like I feel sorry for her, but on the inside, I really delight in the fact that she is so unhappy. Call me evil or whatever, I don't care. She brought this on herself and it serves her right. I actually had to sit there one Saturday night while she got ready for a date with this guy and laughed on the phone with her friend about how awkward our living situation was. I lived in hell for over a year because of her. Wait until she finds out her son and his wife are going to have a baby later this year. Maybe if she had been able to keep her legs closed, she'd get to meet her grandchild. Enjoy your shitty 1-bedroom apartment and your broken down used car. Me and my new partner will think of you when we're on vacation in Hawaii this summer. Hawaii was the trip my ex and I always planned to take once our daughter finished college. Maybe I'll send her pictures. Now for the top of advices. Unless you've been there, it is impossible to understand the mindfuck that is an exit affair. Seeing the natural consequences come to fruition must be something. I hope Hawaii is amazing. And yes, it's a total mindfuck to literally have the person you've been with since you were 20 come home from work one day and tell you they've fallen in love with someone that they've only known for a few months and they want a divorce. I'm sorry that this happened to you too. Heck, dude, I'm right there with you. Granted, my marriage lasted less than yours and our kids are much younger, but I'm with you. What made it sting for me was that she used the infamous line, oh, he's just a friend. There's nothing going on. I think of him like a brother. So you're into incest or something? I don't know. She texted me tonight. I've kept most of her interactions via text, unless she calls while I'm driving, so I have a written record. While I always use profanity in everyday language, I've never to her face called her any names of any sort, which I think will come in handy long term. Asking if I could send her some money for insulin meter or some shit, I told her that I'd be willing to meet her at the store and purchase it in my state. I'm still legally obligated to financially support her until the divorce is final. She immediately declined it and followed it by saying, "Never mind, I'll figure it out. And then, don't worry, I won't be asking for anything from you anymore." Yeah, you dumb shit, you kind of gave up the privilege of me taking care of you when you walked out. I've done nothing but take care of you for the last 10 years, and now you're gonna say I'm abusive? Sucks when I no longer buy your bullshit, doesn't it? To be honest, I'm waiting for about 5 years down the road when she signs over custody because she can't take care of our kids on her weeks. Not what I want to happen, but I've only ignored my gut a few times and it's bit me every time I did, and my gut is telling me to prepare. Rather cathartic to read that I'm not the only one who's been blindsided by their ex. Thank you for relating your experiences. It helps to know I'm not alone and that I'm really not the bad guy. I'm not innocent, but I'm not the villain. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for snapping at my aunt who said I wasn't a real doctor? I, a 35 female, am a plastic surgeon. I went through years of medical school and had residency, but it was worth it. I originally started med school with the hopes of going into psychiatry, but surgery really interested me. The problem started years ago when I first told my family that I was going into plastic surgery because it was what interests me the most. My parents, siblings, and brother-in-law were all supportive, and whenever I felt like giving up, they were always there to push me. But a lot of my other family members weren't as supportive. My aunts always made snide comments about it, as well as my cousins, uncles, and grandparents on both sides. They were all happy when they knew I was in med school, but completely flipped when they found out I was pursuing plastic surgery. It annoyed me at first, but I learned just to move on from it. But recently, my cousin, 40 female on my dad's side, who's the daughter of the aunt who keeps making comments about my job, done a PLC on nursing and childcare, which didn't bother me. I couldn't care less what she does. But my aunt thought I should know everything that's happening with her daughter. Every time I see her, she goes on about how smart her daughter is and how amazing she is for doing a PLC in nursing and childcare. But the last time I saw her, she said something that really annoyed me. Me and my sister were over at her house because she had some hand-me-downs to give to my nephew. We were all eating when she said, "It's great that she's going into medical school." She's not. She doesn't even have the brains for medical school. Maybe we can finally have a real doctor in the family. I sat there in silence for a second thinking, what the F is she even talking about? And then looked at my sister, who looked equally as pissed off as me. I snapped back and said, her changing kids' soiled pants does not make her a doctor, and her knowing how to clean a cut doesn't either. She's not in medical school. She's too dumb for that. She wouldn't even last a week before dropping out. My aunt looked really pissed off and yelled at me for being rude, and then she told me I wasn't much of a doctor either. I yelled back at her that I went through years of med school and residency, and that I'm a licensed doctor and surgeon, and that she doesn't know what she's talking about. My aunt started crying and left the room, so me and my sister just left. A few hours later, I got a text from my cousin calling me a bitch for what I said and attacking her mom. I got more texts from other family members, and it somehow traveled to my mom's side of the family as well. Majority of them are telling me to apologize for yelling at my aunt, but my immediate family, mom, dad, brother, sister, in-laws, girlfriend, are telling me not to. Now I'm going to be shunned by both sides of the family, and they're all refusing to talk to me and won't even let me tell my side of the story. So was I the a-hole? Now for the top of advices. Not the a-hole. Oh, did it somehow travel around the family? You can tell them I said to piss off, and that the plastic surgeon who fixed my 5-year-old sister's face when a dog ate it is so now that within a year, nobody could tell it even happened, changing her life for the better. In fact, madam, a real doctor. And so is the plastic surgeon who put my friend's chest back together after her double mask, giving her back confidence and her mental health. So there. We're taking those new tatas to Hawaii this year and bringing a happy, emotionally healthy friend with them. Oh, I'm so angry on your behalf. A guy in my high school went through a windshield and absolutely destroyed his face. Plastic surgery got him looking almost back to normal. I went through medical school and practiced for years. My specialty was tropical medicine, but I ended up doing just about a little bit of everything as I worked in undeserved and unserved communities in Africa. I don't practice anymore because I moved back to Canada and switched careers. That's not the point though. I'm sure her family would consider me a real doctor. Plastic surgeons are 100 million times the clinicians I could ever be. Plastic surgery is an art form. It is so easy to make tiny mistakes and completely ruin someone forever. Surgery, period, is an art form. Anatomy is complicated. The slightest deviation from what you've intended to do could lead to severe bleeding, nerve damage, or worse for the patient. Plastic surgery has all the same risks and complications that need to be considered, but with the additional fact that the goal is aesthetically pleasing and functional result. Then there's the fact that no one has to be able to judge what one's work is going to look like after the body has completed the healing process. It's like working on a sculpture that is going to bulge, shrink, and shift in the days and weeks after the sculptor has completed their work. Plastic surgery might be in my future. I'm trans, and it's plastic surgeons who do the work on us below the belt. And I can absolutely say that if I do, the person working on me is absolutely a real doctor, and one who has my deepest respect, as I do for OP. The family and anyone who tries to say that plastic surgeons are somehow less than are ignorant beyond all belief. The only exception to this is the quack predatory surgeons who knowingly perform irresponsible procedures on patients who are often suffering from surgical addiction. But that's not OP at all. I'm just including that the statement for the sake of completeness. That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like and share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you.